There's only so much you can see between the clay, the water, but it's real. And that's the important part. There's a wood structure down there, and at that point it becomes, okay, can't stop now.
What if the greatest mystery in Oak Island history has finally been solved? After more than 200 years of failed searches, millions of dollars spent, and countless theories buried beneath the money pit, the team may have uncovered something that changes everything forever. In the explosive Season 13 finale, a massive underground shaft is discovered deep below the island, a hidden structure that could lead directly to the legendary vault itself. But what shocked the team even more was what the scans revealed inside. Some believe it could be lost treasure worth over $400 million. Others think it may connect to an ancient secret hidden for centuries beneath Oak Island. Gold, artifacts, Templar riches, or something far more mysterious. In today's video, we're breaking down the full discovery, the technology that led the team to the hidden chamber, and why this could become the most important moment in Oak Island history. Because what they found at the bottom may finally reveal the truth the world has been chasing for generations. So stay with us until the very end, because the final discovery changes everything. And if you love hidden mysteries, ancient secrets, and unbelievable discoveries, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next investigation. From the moment Season 13 began, it was obvious this search was unlike anything the team had attempted before. For Rick and Marty Lagina, Oak Island was no longer just a decades-long curiosity filled with theories and speculation. This season turned into a high-stakes operation focused on finally uncovering whatever had remained hidden beneath the island for centuries. After more than 200 years of failed expeditions, thousands of digging attempts, and well over $120 million invested into the mystery, the brothers understood that old methods were no longer enough. Blind excavation had failed too many times. This time, the strategy would depend entirely on precision, technology, and verified data. Months before a single drill touched the ground, the team began an enormous research operation. For nearly half a year, they carefully examined hundreds of historical documents, drilling logs, survey records, and old treasure maps. Their objective was clear: locate a section of Oak Island that had never been properly explored at extreme depth. Technology quickly became the centerpiece of the entire mission. Reports suggest the team brought in nearly $10 million worth of advanced scanning equipment to analyze the underground landscape in ways never attempted before. Moon imaging systems generated detailed 3D density maps far beneath the surface, exposing unusual anomalies more than 100 feet underground. Seismic scans also revealed formations that appeared strangely organized and unnatural. Instead of random soil layers, several areas showed compact shapes and patterns that looked intentionally constructed. At the same time, AI-assisted analysis processed more than 30,000 separate data points collected from previous excavations and modern scans. After weeks of calculations, the system narrowed the search to only a handful of high-priority locations believed to have the strongest chance of containing something significant. During one strategy session, Rick reportedly told the crew that random digging was officially over. Every move from this point forward had to matter. Marty then reminded everyone how serious the operation had become financially. Running the excavation was costing tens of thousands of dollars every single day, with some estimates placing daily expenses between $40,000 and $60,000. The pressure to succeed had never been higher. The scale of the operation itself had also grown dramatically. Nearly 100 people, including engineers, drill operators, scanning specialists, and monitoring crews, were working around the clock. At the end of each day, new information was reviewed, analyzed, and compared before the next stage of excavation was approved. Then came the discovery that changed everything. While scanning one particular target zone, the team detected unusual readings between 100 and 120 feet below the surface. Oak Island had produced strange signals before, but this situation immediately stood out because the readings remained perfectly consistent every time the area was scanned. Muon imaging revealed a dense underground mass hidden deep beneath the money pit area. Seismic verification confirmed the same anomaly. Instead of loose, inconsistent earth typically found at that depth, the scans displayed a concentrated area roughly 30 feet wide with unusually high density, strongly suggesting the presence of either a buried structure or a massive object. The engineering team recalibrated the equipment again and again, expecting the readings to disappear. But they never did. In fact, the situation became even stranger when multiple instruments started detecting signatures associated with metal below the surface. Metallic traces had appeared during earlier searches over the years, but never with this level of intensity. Some specialists estimated that if a solid object truly existed underground, it could weigh several tons. Inside the monitoring center, Rick Lagina reportedly stared silently at the scan results before finally admitting that the readings didn't look natural. Marty immediately ordered continuous verification scans to eliminate the possibility of equipment error. For nearly 2 full days, the area was re-scanned from multiple positions and angles, yet every result pointed to the exact same conclusion. Something enormous was buried underground. Excitement quickly spread across the island, but so did caution. Oak Island had a long history of false hope and misleading discoveries. Even so, the team decided the evidence was strong enough to move forward with drilling directly above the anomaly. At first, the excavation advanced smoothly. Through the first several dozen feet, the drilling process followed normal expectations. Soil conditions remained stable, the equipment operated efficiently, and progress continued without major setbacks. But once the drill passed approximately 90 feet underground, the entire operation changed. Operators suddenly encountered severe resistance unlike anything they had experienced earlier in the dig. The machinery struggled to move downward, requiring far greater pressure to continue. Crew members also noticed the sound of the drill changing completely, as though it had struck something unusually hard beneath the surface. Then another problem appeared. The drilling equipment began overheating at an alarming rate. After only short periods of operation, emergency temperature warnings repeatedly forced the crew to shut everything down and cool the machinery before continuing. Progress slowed dramatically. What had once been more than 10 feet of drilling per day dropped to only a few feet daily. Watching the situation unfold, Rick finally asked the operators a direct question. Was this kind of resistance normal? The answer came almost immediately. No. Marty also made one thing very clear to the team. The financial pressure was enormous. Keeping the operation running was costing between $40,000 and $60,000 every single day. Every choice carried serious risk. But if the excavation finally uncovered the truth, the reward could become one of the biggest discoveries in Oak Island history. By this stage, the search had evolved into a massive, highly organized operation. Close to 100 people, including engineers, drilling experts, monitoring crews, and technical specialists, were working around the clock. Every evening, The team gathered to review fresh data collected throughout the day before deciding how the next phase of excavation would move forward. Then came the breakthrough that changed the atmosphere on the island completely. During scans focused on one high-priority target zone, instruments began detecting unusual signals between 100 and 120 feet underground. Strange readings had appeared before on Oak Island, but this time something felt different. The signals kept returning from the exact same location with remarkable consistency. Muon imaging revealed a large, dense mass hidden beneath the surface. Seismic scans confirmed the anomaly almost immediately. Instead of irregular soil formations normally expected at that depth, the data showed a concentrated 30 by 30 foot section with extremely high density, suggesting the possibility of a buried structure or a massive object underground. The engineering crew recalibrated the equipment several times, expecting the readings to disappear. But the results stayed exactly the same. Then the mystery deepened even further. Multiple instruments started picking up responses that appeared consistent with metal beneath the surface. Although metallic traces had been discovered during previous excavations, the strength of these new readings was far more intense. Some experts estimated that if a solid object truly existed underground, it could weigh anywhere between 3 and 5 tons. Inside the monitoring room, Marty Lagina reportedly stared at the data in shock. After studying the scans repeatedly, he finally admitted quietly, "This isn't normal." Marty immediately ordered non-stop verification testing. For almost 48 hours, the area was re-scanned from different angles and positions, but every result led to the same conclusion. Something enormous was buried below Oak Island. Excitement spread quickly through the crew, but so did tension. The island had misled treasure hunters many times before. Even so, the evidence looked too strong to ignore. The team made the decision to drill directly above the most powerful signal. At first, the excavation moved exactly according to plan. During the first 60 to 70 feet, drilling conditions remained stable. Soil layers were manageable, the machinery cut efficiently, and progress continued smoothly. But once the operation pushed beyond roughly 90 feet underground, everything suddenly changed. The first sign of trouble came when the drill encountered severe resistance. Operators noticed the equipment struggling far more than expected. Extra force was needed just to continue downward, and the sound coming from the machinery changed dramatically, almost like the drill had struck a hard artificial surface instead of normal rock or soil. Then another serious issue appeared: overheating. After only 20 to 25 minutes of operation, warning alarms repeatedly forced the crew to shut down the drill and cool the system before continuing. Progress slowed to a crawl. What had once been nearly a dozen feet of drilling per day dropped to only 3 or 4 feet daily. Standing nearby, Rick finally asked the operators a direct question. "Is this normal?" The response came instantly. "Not even close." Concerned about losing valuable time, Marty ordered backup drilling systems to stay fully prepared in case the primary equipment failed. Any major delay at this stage could push the project back by weeks. As the drilling continued deeper, the resistance only became stronger. Several times, the machinery nearly stopped completely, almost as if a massive barrier was sitting directly beneath the team. But even stranger were the vibration readings coming from the drill itself. Operators noticed unusual vibration patterns, almost like the drill bit was scraping against metal or grinding across an extremely dense, man-made surface hidden underground. Across the site, tension continued building. Every delay was becoming more expensive, with operational costs already exceeding $50,000 per day. But beyond the financial pressure, one question now consumed everyone involved in the search. What exactly was hidden beneath Oak Island? At one point, a crew member quietly whispered something that captured the mood perfectly. "It's almost like the island doesn't want us going deeper." Then came the moment that transformed speculation into something much more real: the first core samples. Until then, the team only had scan results, strange signals, and unexplained readings. But once samples were recovered from depths between 95 and 105 feet, everything changed. The material pulled from underground looked completely different from the normal soil, clay, and loose rock usually found at those depths. Instead, the cores appeared tightly packed, layered, and unusually dense. And then came the shocking discovery. Tiny visible traces of gold could clearly be seen within the samples. At first, the crew feared contamination, but as additional samples were brought up, the same pattern appeared again and again. The material was immediately rushed to the lab for further analysis. Even the early testing results stunned experts. The gold particles were not randomly scattered through the soil the way natural deposits usually appear. Instead, the traces seemed concentrated inside specific layers, almost as if the material had either been deliberately placed underground or formed through a process completely different from normal geological activity. One geologist reviewing the samples reportedly admitted that the results looked highly unusual. Natural placer gold deposits normally appear scattered unevenly through soil and sediment. But these samples revealed concentrated layers where gold measurements suddenly jumped from only a few grams per ton to nearly 10 grams per ton at certain depths, an extremely abnormal finding so deep underground. Rick Lagina personally examined the samples under magnification, carefully studying every tiny gold fragment. According to reports, that was the moment he began believing this discovery could finally be the breakthrough the team had spent years chasing. Marty reacted immediately. With physical evidence now supporting the underground scans, he ordered the drilling operation to expand without delay. But gold wasn't the only thing discovered inside the core samples. The material also contained wood fragments, dense clay layers, and traces of metallic residue. Signs suggesting the team was no longer dealing with a simple, natural formation beneath the island. Confidence across the operation started rising rapidly. What once seemed like another strange anomaly was beginning to look far more deliberate. The evidence now pointed toward the possibility of an engineered underground system buried deep beneath Oak Island. Then the mystery took another dramatic turn. As more samples were recovered from depths between 100 and 115 feet, the focus shifted away from simple treasure speculation and towards something even bigger: the possibility of a hidden underground structure. The deeper core samples revealed layers that appeared unusually compressed and remarkably uniform. Instead of loose, chaotic earth formations, the material showed signs of organization and structure that investigators could no longer easily explain away as natural geology. The deeper the team analyzed the recovered material, the stranger the evidence became. The underground layers didn't look loose or naturally formed. Instead, the material appeared compressed, flat, and almost artificially arranged, more like something engineered than something created by erosion over time. Then the investigation took another shocking turn. Several drill samples contained small fragments of worked wood. Even though the pieces were tiny, they clearly looked processed, possibly remnants of old support beams or construction materials. Wood structures had been uncovered on Oak Island before, But discovering similar material this deep underground immediately raised new questions. At the same time, geologists noticed something unusual about several stone fragments recovered from the cores. Their texture and mineral composition looked completely different from the island's surrounding rock. In fact, the material appeared so out of place that some experts suspected the stones may have been brought there intentionally. Later, laboratory testing strengthened those suspicions. The recovered stones were officially identified as non-native to the area. At that point, the evidence started forming a much more disturbing picture. Dense, compacted layers, processed wood, imported stone. When combined together, all signs pointed toward one possibility: artificial construction, hidden beneath Oak Island. After reviewing the latest findings, Rick Lagina reportedly fell silent for several moments before finally saying, "If this data is correct, then someone built something down there, and they may have hidden it on purpose." The seriousness of the discovery pushed Marty to bring in additional specialists immediately. Archaeologists, structural engineers, and geology experts were all asked to examine the evidence independently. One specialist reportedly delivered a blunt conclusion. "These formations don't appear natural. This could be part of an old shaft system, or even a structure designed to protect or conceal a hidden chamber underground." Suddenly, the search was becoming about far more than buried treasure. The evidence now suggested Oak Island might contain a carefully engineered underground system, something intentionally constructed and hidden centuries ago. And that realization brought the island's entire history back into the spotlight once again. The Oak Island mystery stretches all the way back to 1795, when early explorers first discovered the strange depression, later known as the Money Pit. Curious residents began digging and quickly uncovered something highly unusual. The biggest challenge was always the same: water. Again and again, excavations suddenly flooded once crews reached certain depths. Shafts collapsed without warning. Massive drilling equipment vanished underground. Entire operations were abandoned halfway through after disaster struck unexpectedly. To many searchers, it almost felt as though Oak Island itself had been designed to protect whatever secret remained hidden beneath it.